I left home about 5 minutes ago, driving to pick up Jake. Just as I was walking out the front door, Darlene drove up with her son Jake, or her grandson Jake. She said she was at the store when her daughter called me to go pick up her grandson. Looked like she had a case of root beer, some type of blue drink or something. Not much, just 3 or 4 items was all she had. She vacillates between a very dependent, insecure personality to a more authoritative, motherly role. She told me today she had attempted suicide twice after her ex-husband left her. And she told me that the woman he left her for was 22 or 24, and that she was staying in her house with her husband. That he would go into her room and tuck her in at night, or tell her good night, but left the door open. She said that the girl also got in bed with them once and watched television with them. $1.78. Wow. You know, and that one night the girl was crying over something, and that he was hugging her, and she said, she asked him what he was doing. He said, oh, he was just hugging her because she was crying. And then she said as soon as she told the girl that she had to get out that very same night, he came into her room, her bedroom, and told him that he told her ex-husband the very same night that she told the girl to get out. Her ex-husband came into her bedroom and told her that he wanted a divorce, and she said that she thought he wanted a divorce because of the girl, and he said no, she just made him stronger to realize that that was what he wanted. So that's what it was. She didn't want to admit it, that he was fucking the 22-year-old, 24-year-old girl under her roof, and she even told me, no, he didn't do that in here. He wasn't doing that. I would have seen it. I'd have known it. I was like, well, even if he didn't do that, what you've told me, you know, is he was emotionally committing adultery with her because he was spending all the time with her, and as he said, you know, she helped him realize it, and he was doing all this hugging and going and telling, you know, saying he was telling her goodnight and stuff. He didn't want to see the truth. She didn't want to see the truth. And maybe he wasn't fucking the girl. But as soon as she said that she wanted the girl to leave, he asked for divorce that very night. So, you know, and he immediately moved in with the girl in her parents' house or something, and was her boyfriend immediately, and, you know, filed for divorce and got it within 3 months, and then now the girl's pregnant. So, you know, she wants to say no, he wasn't fucking her under her roof. Yeah, he probably was. She didn't ever see it, but she, you know, whether or not he was, he certainly behaved suspiciously enough as though it would be assumable that he was. You know, and even if he didn't, he was still committing emotional adultery, which is still a form of adultery. Oh yes, he committed adultery, even if it was just emotional adultery. So, you know, she's not wanting to admit that, and she told her therapist, she said that she told her therapist, well, I haven't taken my bottle of pills yet. So her therapist committed her to Brentwood for 72 hours. She said it was 72 hours, it was just a party. And that, you know, may not like her therapist only did that to protect her therapist from a lawsuit if she had committed suicide. Then the therapist would have been aware of the fact that she said she hadn't taken a bottle of pills yet. Well, anyway, after that, she attempted suicide twice. She overdosed twice on pills. And I think one of her relatives came over and stayed with her for a little while. Took all her pills out of her room. I'm not playing that game. She's a grown woman. She wants to kill herself. She's going to do it anyway. People that are hell-bent on doing it, do it. And they don't talk about anything that's... It's the way they talk about it. If they say anything about it, they're specific about it, and they've already got a plan to do it, and they don't want anybody to stop them from doing it. So, she's 70 years old now. You know, she doesn't want to admit that he was committing adultery, and the baby is due now. And the girl's only 22 or 24. Her ex is 36. He was 35 years younger than her. She met him when she was working at a toy store, and she mentioned to a coworker that she thought he had a nice ass. They went out for drinks and stuff. She said he wasn't even 21 yet. But she said they went out and started dating, and he asked her to marry him. And he told her that he was going to have her. So, and she said they didn't have a lot in common. Their marriage was over before the affair, whatever she didn't want to call it an affair, but that he wanted to go hang out with his friends that were in their 20s and 30s, and that she wasn't interested in that age group. And that's a good reason not to hook up with somebody 35 years younger than you. So, you know, things like that happen though. My sister hooked up with her husband. He's 12 or 16 years older than her. You know, things like that do happen. But she was married to him for 11 years. The marriage was final in 3 months, back in this past summer. So this has all happened within the last year that she's been through all this. She didn't tell me any of these things about her when I met her. And she was like so glad to have me and Jake there. She said she started crying yesterday over something when Jaden and Jacob were there. A phone call she got or something, and Jacob just asked her, "Are you okay?" I told her Jake would ask if she was okay and get her something if she needed water or something, but he wouldn't be the type to hug her or pat her on the back. And that's okay. People cry, and I think it's okay for adults to cry around children if, you know, they're not hysterical. To show them this is how, you know, we behave when we're upset and we're sad. We cry, and that's normal. And I think that's okay to do that. So, I don't know where she went today, but she didn't tell me that she was leaving. When she left, she abruptly ended our conversation and became very aloof. Kamikaze passed over right at the beginning of the conversation and right at the end. I had diarrhea, went back to my room, and I don't know when she left, but she drove her vehicle up just as soon as I was walking out the front door. I walked out the front door, and she and Jaden got out of her car. She said she was at the store when her daughter called and asked her to pick up Jaden. She became suddenly very bothered, so I don't know. And I'll just have to tell Jacob and warn him about her, because if she is a snitch and she's playing games, then I don't know what she's going to try to play on Jake. I've never had sexual contact with my son, and my son didn't have sex with anybody. So, she says she's got an ex-boyfriend named Charles who said he was coming over today. He's a drifter. prefers